I think it's time to try another MRE, and this one was very kindly sent by Kim Sleepy. Sent two different styles. So let's try this one first. It's beans and wieners. Kim also sent the maple cookies, which were very pleasant. So this says, military ration, not for resale, ration militaire, vente interdite. That was probably pronounced wrong. My French isn't great. I can get by in France, and that's about it. But on the back it also says, like us on Facebook, comments, and it's got this sort of web address, and it's also got a QR code. Let's zoom in on that for those people who quite like scanning random QR codes. So, yes, let's open it up and take a look inside. This probably hints at the fact that these things are very popular with this sort of camping brigade and the preppers who, you know, it's a very useful way of getting a standardised meal ration that will hopefully keep a good length of time and is easy to transport with you. So let's open this up. Let's not be subtle about this. What do we have? These things are great. These are like lucky bags for adults. These are also incidentally used by the utility industries as emergency food for when their guys are out working in storm conditions and stuff like that. So what do we have? This looks like it could be a little wet wipe. Water, parfum of soap, water, fragrance and soap. All right, water, fragrance and soap. Okay. Beverage bag with measuring levels on it. Hot chocolate and sports drink. Some chewing gum. Hamburger bun. Okay, pain meaning, pain being French for bread. Okay. I keep starting off reading the French first. I should really look for the English, although bizarrely, when you've worked in France for a while, you can actually understand what a lot of French stuff says. I'm going to adjust the exposure down a wee tad here and maybe zoom down. This is where I completely mess up the focus. Is the focus all right? Yes, the focus looks pretty good. Apple and brown sugar crunchy cereal. That's quite intriguing. Grape sports drink. Espresso roast coffee. Red hot sauce. This usually goes terribly wrong when I try the red hot sauces. I've not got good stamina for red hot sauces. Raspberry jam. And what are these? Beans and wieners, and what's this one? Sliced pears. So what's in these? I'm guessing from the feel of it, it's foil pouches. It is foil pouches. So that's the pears. I shall put these out in a bowl in a moment. Does it come with anything to heat? It comes with matches for lighting a fire. Sugar. Tea whitener for tea and coffee. It's nice to get the whitener with it. Chilled cappuccino protein drink. That's quite interesting. And that just leaves the beans and wieners. Right. So I think it's time to go and heat these up and try them out. Oh, I should read the calorific values. Calorific values, I'm just going to get the reading glasses on for this so I can actually read them properly. It's quite small text in real life. It's not small text when you look at a large screen. I've got a large screen on its way to help with such things. Right, okay. What do we have here? Calories. Per one pouch, 370. That's actually less than I was expecting. I thought it was going to be super high calorie food, but that is a typical meal in calories. Fat. It says fat 15%, but then it says saturated 16%. I guess that's just the two different. I thought they'd combine it into one. You know, I'm used to the British in British food data. They say things like, you know, fat. They'd say here 31%, of which saturated 16%. Cholesterol 75 milligrams. Carbohydrate, which is kind of the most important bit, the sugars amount to 13%, and the fibre is about 13 grams, and the protein is 19 grams. And then all the vitamins. Okay. Right, I think I'm going to prepare some of this now and then I'll tell you what it tastes like. So that's everything prepared now. I think we shall start by taking a look at the cereal that comes. And this is a muesli. It's a dry muesli that you can add hot or cold water to as desired. Oh, what are the ingredients of this? The ingredients are listed as rolled oats, milk powder, sugar, canola oil, dried apple, molasses, wheat germ, sesame seeds and flavour. The sesame seeds is quite an odd touch. Let's give this a wee taste. I added possibly far too much milk. Water, should I say, which is reconstituted with the dried milk. It tastes very appley. That's the prominent flavour here. I don't know if that's down to the apple pieces or it's most likely that they've added the apple flavouring to give it a strong theme in that way. And the dried milk works very well. It tastes sweet, it tastes cereally, and the milk is actually quite creamy, so it's actually quite passable as a sort of breakfast typey dish. I shall move it. I won't start eating it all at the moment for reasons of being able to actually talk. Something else I want to take a look at here is the bun. Here, the hamburger bun. Quite odd. Nothing is really super high calorie. In this case, the bun is 200 calories. That was about 300 calories. And when you add it all up, I think it comes to roughly 1,000 calories. So it is kind of aimed at a typical, it's not like a sort of cold climatey type ration, I wouldn't say. It's mainly aimed at sort of normal rationing or activities. So here's the bun. It is pre-split. It's kind of a brown bread type bun. It smells yeasty. It's quite dry and floury, but it's quite alright. I'm guessing that ultimately that's designed for use with the jam, but ultimately you can use it whatever you want. My temptation would be to use it with the main meal here, which is the beans and sausages. Now, in the UK, I noticed for a start that the sachets that the food came in are labelled Baxter's, which is quite a prominent soup brand over here. But in this case, we have the closest I could come to this in the UK is probably you get the bean meals, the sort of all-day breakfast meal, which has a sort of chunks of meaty type stuff in it. And you also get the Heinz beans with pork sausages. I think it's based along the sort of same lines. So the beans themselves, let's taste the beans. They taste like a hybrid between standard clean baked beans, just standard beans and tomato sauce, and the other flavours like the barbecue. There's a very slight hint of the sort of barbecuishness to this. And the sausage itself, I'll eat a bit of the sausage and describe it. It's that sort of Frankfurter, what's the best way to describe it? That hot dog is the best way to describe it. So this is kind of a sort of slightly spicy. Oh, there's a spicy sauce. That's a good thing to think about. This is where it all goes wrong for me because I cannot handle spicy sauces. I shall mix it a little bit into one corner of the food, and then of course I'll probably end up tasting some. It's quite runny. And then I'll taste some and see what it does. Is this a good idea? Oh. Right, okay, that's one of those small delay things. It's not that bad, actually, as these sauces go. Or is it? There's a delay there. Actually, that is not a super hot spicy sauce. Hold on, have I got the spicy bit, or is it? It's all... I can see the fine particulate of the spice in it. It's sweet and vinegary. And it does have that, excuse me, it does have that spicy bite after it. Let's fold that up. Let's not add too much of that. I've always thought that spicy sauce kind of masks the flavour of other good foods. So put that out of the way. Right, so I've tried this. It's quite nice. I'm going to have another wee bit on the bread. Actually, I would be torn with indecision. I think I'd use the bun mostly with the beans and sausages. When I was young at school, secondary school, I used to go to my gran's during the lunchtime for the lunch, and it was always this thick soup she gave us. And we used to get this at a bread roll. Now, the bread roll, wherever you go in the world, they're different. It's basically like this, but white bread. They're also called cobs, baps. Just even in Britain, there's so many different names for it. But I used to get one, and I used to actually poke my finger into it and dig some of the bread out from the middle, and then ladle the stuff, the soup, the thick soup into it, which sometimes it just burst completely. But it just made this really super squishy, soupy donut type thing. It was quite nice. Drinks. Firstly, we have the energy type sports drink. So this turned this absolutely lurid shade of red. This just needs vodka added to it, quite frankly, to energise it and turn it into wine, basically. It's a miracle. You can turn water into wine. Let's taste it and see what it tastes like. I shall pour out a little bit into the glass. I'll use the same glass for the other thing we got was the sort of protein shake, which is a sort of coffee flavour protein shake. So I'm going to seal that up and taste this. That tastes quite odd. It's a generic, it's not overly sweet actually, unless the sugar is not dissolved. I think it has. The taste has a slight chemical, well, ultimately, yeah, it tastes chemically. That's the best way to describe it. It's what you'd expect. It could probably do with the vodka being added to it. Oh, that's odd. Tastes a tiny bit like PCP, which isn't a very complimentary thing. It's not actually fruity as you'd expect. It's certainly not as fruity as you'd expect. It tastes a bit odd, actually. Let's try the protein shake, which is the coffee-themed one. Oh, it's still got lumps of powder, and it's actually firmed up in there. So let's pour it. Oh, blimey, it's lumpy, and I shook that quite a bit as well. But it is more resembling a sort of thick shake. I should actually seal these up because I will knock them over at some point and then spill drinks all over my workbench. Let's try this out. That is very much like the protein drinks you get. When you drink them, there's that slight sort of coarseness to it. It's that dry powderishness. Much like the gym energy drinks, that's probably ultimately what it's based on. It says Laboratoire COP Inc., so it is very much a lab-made drink, but it's not bad actually. That is very drinkable. The coffee that came with it came with coffee, sugar and creamer in separate sachets, so let's give that a go. It tastes like fairly standard coffee. It's nice they added a creamer. They included a creamer with it, because some of the other rations don't seem to do that. It comes with matches for lighting a fire. Noting that these sachets are designed to be submerged in water boiling water for about 5 minutes to heat them. It's not like a self-heating sachet. Things like the jam, if I didn't use the jam in the roll, if I ended up using the roll, the bread, for the first course, I'd probably just suck the jam straight out the packet, as you are prone to doing, just for that extra little sweet burst. And that leaves, I've tried just about everything else, that leaves the rather intriguing sliced pears. What's this going to be like? So let's tear this open. Is it going to be absolutely, I can see all the syrup oozing out already. It is literally just pieces of sliced pear. I'm just going to shove my hands in and grab a bit here. That's really the best way to do it. A piece of sliced pear. Smells okay. Tastes fundamentally like sliced pear in the sort of syrup. That would actually be quite a nice pudding. And you could just eat it straight from the pack like this. So, right. So what do I think? It's perfectly acceptable. It's quite nice, actually, this meal. Just as well get this, here, let's just balance that on there. All right, it's in. I'm going to eat all this, obviously. And I'm even going to drink that strange energy drink. So, yeah, that was quite good, especially if you're out in the middle of nowhere. That would be very acceptable. The only thing I'd wonder about is heating it. I don't know if you can actually eat them cold, because it says the same sachet is used for the pears as the hot food, and it says cooking instructions not applicable to fruits. Place unopened pouch in pan of boiling water. I'm not sure. Then again, it says, as with canned products, do not use if pouch is damaged. I guess you could probably, as with cans, you could probably eat it cold. It doesn't specifically say that. But otherwise, you're going to have to find a pan and water and some sort of, you've got matches to light a fire, I guess, to actually heat that. But it seems like a bit more complicated than... I think if I was out in the wild, if I was wanting a quick meal, I'd probably end up just eating it cold. So which are the highlights of this? The breakfast cereals are nice. The main food is nice. It's not got much in the way of candy like many of the other things do. There's no chocolate as such, but it does have these 2 bits of chewing gum. The fruity drink was the more disappointing bit. It was almost like they missed out the chemical fruit flavour. But that was made up for by the cappuccino drink, the protein drink, which was quite nice. And the pears are also very acceptable. So all in all, that would be quite acceptable for food if you're out and about, even just on a site somewhere. So yeah, that was good. I quite enjoyed that, and now I'm going to eat the rest of it. So yes, very good indeed.